We're going to begin, though, tonight with some new information involving an ICE agent who fatally shot a Mexican national down south in Houston. Mexico's president tonight says that they plan to pursue legal action following yesterday's shooting. I want to share with you some new video from Houston. It shows residents and community leaders marching earlier this evening to condemn the shooting and to honor the memory of Lorenzo Salgado Araujo. His family says he's originally from Mexico. He'd been in the U.S., they say, for more than 30 years with no criminal record. They say he was, in fact, in the final stages of getting a work permit to obtain legal status. Federal officials tonight saying that they stopped the vehicle Araujo was in during a targeted operation, and they claim he tried to evade arrest and then tried to weaponize his vehicle before an agent shot and killed him. Congressman Christian Menifee called that claim into question.
This is not the first time that this has happened. We saw it with Renee Good. We saw it with Alex Preddy. And every single time they come and they tell us their version of events, but we don't see any evidence.
Federal officials have not released any video or images regarding the shooting. Family members, local Democratic officials, and immigrant rights groups in Texas are now calling for an independent investigation into that deadly shooting. There are concerns tonight that the war in Iran could reignite full-out war, and we are already seeing some changes at the gas pump with what's been going on this week. Today, the United States launched another round of strikes. That's the second in 2 days. The United States military says it was still retaliating against Iran for the attack on commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz earlier this week. But President Trump told reporters today that he heard from Tehran's regime and says they want to make a deal. We've heard this before, but earlier today he also said he felt the 60-day ceasefire with Iran was over based on everything that's happening. In a Truth Social post this evening, the president also warns it could get much worse if ships are attacked in the strait again. AAA, as I mentioned gas a moment ago, keeping an eye on the gas prices for us. State average for a gallon of regular unleaded rose 3 cents since yesterday, stands at $3.35 a gallon. Dallas AAA says the average jumped 10 cents from yesterday to $3.29, and in Fort Worth the average increased by 9 cents since yesterday to $3.28. On to Plano tonight, where the independent school district says that they're addressing the employment of an elementary teacher who was arrested following accusations of sexually abusing a child. Plano PD tell us they've arrested 64-year-old Paul Campbell. That happened today, and it was following an investigation at Brinker Elementary School. Tonight, he is charged with continuous sexual abuse of a child. Police say the abuse allegedly happened at Brinker Elementary, and tonight the department is confirming that they are in fact also conducting additional interviews relating to this case. Plano ISD says they are fully cooperating with the police department and the investigation. The Dallas police chief tonight says an officer hurt in a crash on Highway 67 that we covered earlier this evening does not appear to have serious injuries. This was the northbound lanes right near Redbird, about 4 o'clock this afternoon, Redbird Lane. Crews were able to get those lanes back open about 7 o'clock tonight. We are told the officer involved here was conducting a traffic stop when the police unit was hit by a different vehicle. That officer was taken to a hospital out of an abundance of caution. The Dallas Stars' plan to move north to Plano is leading to a lot of questions from people who have some concerns about what the team's future might look like in their neighborhood. They're going to be neighbors if this happens. So today, residents in Plano openly shared their excitement for a new sports arena and a complex, but also concerns about maybe what traffic could look like in the area. It's one of the biggest concerns. The $3 billion plan would turn Willow Bend Mall and the whole area into this new arena that glows green, along with a big mixed-use development all around it. But when it comes to traffic, moving people in and out, developers have a goal, they say, of clearing the stadium and traffic, think of a game night, around that site within about 40 minutes after games or events. The possibility of light and noise pollution, that also came up for discussion, and some neighbors wanted to know about off-site parking.
I'm concerned about our neighborhood being used as a parking lot. We are less than a half a mile away, and my concern is people looking for free parking and parking in our neighborhood and making it hard for the residents to get in and out of our neighborhood.
Yeah, and just so you know, this is not one and done. This is not the only open house for the project. We understand there'll be another opportunity to ask questions. This will be Tuesday, July 14th, so that's next week. That open house is going to be held from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. again at the shops at Willow Bend. All new for you tonight. David Wade Ruby is a North Texas man who fought in the Vietnam War. Nearly 30 years after his death, though, there's a battle in Cook County over where this man is buried, because no one's really sure where that is. Our Marvin Hurst tonight with the search for David Ruby.
The ones that are in the ground, if they're not maintained,
Of all the places Jimmy Hadley
they just get lost.
thought peace could be secure,
Basically, I was thinking that there would be like some sort of marker.
it was his grandfather's final resting place.
I don't see how you could keep track of where people are buried if there's nothing even there.
New Hope Cemetery in Mountain Springs is where a flat grave marker provided by the government sits on land that's hopefully the late David Wade Ruby.
The real decoration was the way he treated people and the work that he put for 22 years in the military, you know, to serve his country.
Decorated and honorably discharged after the war in Vietnam, Ruby died in 1997. There became a gap in visits to his gravesite. No tombstone or permanent marker for nearly 29 years after Ruby's death, until his grandson says he found this marker in storage.
That was provided, you know, by the military.
But when he got to the cemetery, finding his grandfather's grave became a game of guess.
Basically, walking the cemetery to see if we could find any placard or...
He tried to get help from burial experts.
He went out to the cemetery where Mr. Ruby was buried, okay, and his best location, he was suggesting there's a VA marker. If you can align the burial with the emert headstone.
Help from the cemetery's keepers led to this metal probe.
So this is what
The 38-year-old and his wife became grave
I
detectives.
basically try to see if there was anybody buried there. So right here would be that tree right there.
Taking a picture from his grandfather's funeral
We lined it up with the car, the tree.
and trying to
right
match
here-
photo and
And
earth
then right
to
here,
the
you'll see
very same spot.
We're right in here, 2 to 3 foot.
Then in went the probe,
Right here's where I originally.
over and over.
Here's another one right here. I felt that it stopped, and I heard thunk, thunk. You can hear it, and you can feel it in the rock. And that right there, it killed me.
Hours of hard work. He hit something 2 to 3 feet in.
Kind of made me feel like I was putting a metal rod in my grandfather's heart.
So we reached out to the board that oversees the cemetery to find out what is the deal with Mr. Ruby's gravesite. They tell us there is no formalized logging system. The systems that were in place, well, it dies with each person who's over it. The current president says he logs what you see is on the ground here, and he keeps it in a book. Board President Dan Alexander wouldn't go on camera. He says, though, that he can't be sure that the Rubies placed the marker on the right grave, but he will allow it to stay, unless someone else protests the spot the family marked is another body. Alexander says putting a marker on Ruby sooner would have helped.
He's the ultimate victim, my grandfather.
It's an old cemetery dating back to the late 1800s where tombstones have shifted, practically eroded, even crumbled to the ground. And without a system for families and future keepers, which state law requires, Jimmy Hadley believes any new hope of avoiding a burial mystery is dead.
I know, you know, in my heart that he's up in heaven. I know that. But as far as his remains, you know, I mean, you don't know.
In Mountain Springs, Marvin Hurst, CBS News, Texas.
Happening right now, Dallas police tonight asking for your help, finding a third suspect in a shooting that left a woman dead. Officers want to speak to 19-year-old Jordan Hooker. This goes back to a shooting on South Zang Boulevard back in February. 24-year-old Kaylee Lopez was killed. Another victim survived. So far, 2 arrests have been made in the case. If you happen to know where Jordan Hooker is, Dallas Police Department would love to hear from you. And the boil water notice does continue for those of you in the city of Crowley tonight. Just want to get an updated word to you. It comes after a water main break, of course, on on East Main Street, right by the Walmart. City officials told us tonight repairs have been completed, but you're still dealing with reduced system pressure, and that's a problem that still requires customers to boil water for 2 minutes before using it. Hopefully, we'll have a better update for you by tomorrow.